everybody. Thank you very much. This is some turnout.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump came to the South Bronx today to speak to some supporters and to a fair amount of empty space in Crotona Park. He was as bellicose as you'd expect.
Our black population and our Hispanic population who are losing their jobs, losing their housing, losing everything they can lose.
But Trump is a billionaire, and the South Bronx doesn't house any billionaires. Politically, Trump shouldn't get his hopes up.
If you did a poll about who's more popular, Donald Trump or lead paint, I suspect lead is more popular than Donald Trump in the Bronx.
And yet, look at that crowd. There are a lot of red hats in there.
They're all from out of state. Go out there and look at all them cars that are parked and check them where they came from. Tennessee, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Texas.
Well, maybe not all. This young man is from Queens. You ever been to the Bronx before?
Yeah! I've been to the Bronx once. This is my first time coming here.
But like a lot of others, he supports Trump.
He's a great person. He does care for all the American people, for the country.
He saved the country. We were in great shape. Now we're in terrible shape.
There were a few tense moments as the two sides shared space in the park, but most were tolerant of one another, if dismissive.
I'm not surprised that ignorance is here. And I choose to not be ignorant because I read books.
That was Jim Dolan from ABC7 News in New York dropping some pretty undesirable knowledge on Trump. And that's because he's been running with this idea that a staggering 25,000 people showed up to his rally in the Bronx.
President Trump is offering to put more money back in the pockets of hardworking Americans. He's offering to demand law and order in our inner cities, restore peace around this world. And that's a message that all Americans can get behind. And that is why you saw more than 25,000 people show up in the deep blue Bronx tonight, bringing the same energy and enthusiasm that we felt a few weeks ago in deep blue New Jersey, where more than 100,000 people showed up to hear from President Trump. And Joe Biden campaigned on being a unifier in chief. He has unified this great country in their disgust and contempt for the Democrat Party's failed policies and in their support of President Trump and the Make America Great Again movement.
And of course, the natural progression of that is what people like Jesse Waters and even Trump himself are claiming, that this is evidence that Trump is moving in on Joe Biden's territory and that New York is suddenly in play.
But the way the electoral system is in this country, because time is money, a lot of the times you raise money in your own strongholds and then you campaign in the battlegrounds, and you kind of leave your other opponent's base alone. That's off the table now because Trump smells weakness, so he's diving into Joe Biden's base. And, you know, voters are like women, Dana. They want to be courted. They want you to lavish attention on them. So the Bronx is now like, hey, where you been all my life? Come over here, and he's coming, and he is going to come strong.
President, you're pulling something out there. I've been begging Republicans, come to the black community, come to the Hispanic community. More people that were here today look more like me than you. Why did you come here today?
Well, because I've done very well with the vote. I love the people. They're incredible. They're energetic. They're entrepreneurial, and they're going to save New York. And we're going to win New York. And if we win New York, the election's over. We take over the country, and we take over the country.
You think you're going to win?
I think we have a chance to win New York. It hasn't been done in, many, many decades.
When in actuality, this is what the crowd looks like. Not exactly 25,000 people. Not exactly 10,000 people either. And so now you understand why they'll post videos like this, way up close, where it gives the impression that tens of thousands of people are in the crowd. It's all part of the mirage that Trump is trying to sell. This is what this guy does. He sells bills of goods. He says he's got huge crowds. He's lying. Just like this idea that Truth Social is some huge social media juggernaut. It loses so much money, Devin Nunes should never be able to run a business again in his life. Like this idea that his NFTs are going to be worth something. They're not. Like the idea that he's a successful businessman. He's overseen the bankruptcy and closing of more businesses than anyone can think of. From Trump casinos to Trump hotels, Trump wines, Trump vodka, Trump steaks. I mean, hell, the guy's university was proven to be a fraud in court. Anyone gullible enough to throw their money at Donald Trump should be fully prepared to see a $0 return on investment. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's rallies with out-of-towners aside, want to know what an actual Bronx resident thinks of Trump? Here you go.
He was in here 4 years already. What did he do for us? Absolutely nothing. I'm born and raised here.
And let's be clear, the same thing happened just a few weeks back. Here's Eric Trump making an even more egregious claim from Donald Trump's New Jersey rally.
And when you see Wildwood on Saturday, where he has
We're gonna get into that.
100,000 people show up. 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen can't pull half
we're
of that.
getting, don't
right?
steal our thunder. We're getting into
Trying
that
not to,
next
but I'm
segment.
excited about this. And then you.
That 100,000 people showed up to Wildwood in Deep Blue, New Jersey. More than Bruce Springsteen could pull. First of all, as someone who was born and raised in New Jersey, I feel like I have enough authority to say that Bruce Springsteen could draw a bigger crowd sleeping than Donald Trump could. And Eric Trump may somehow be dumber than I thought if he believes otherwise. Second of all, even Jesse Waters on Fox didn't buy that BS. He said on The Five that he had a reporter on the scene who said it wasn't 100,000, said it was closer to 30,000. Another Fox reporter, David Marcus, agreed, writing, Jesse Waters on The Five just said that his reporter puts the Wildwood crowd at about 30,000. That I can believe. So yeah, when even Fox hosts are rebuking your claims, you might have lost the plot. And of course, while half of this is ego, as Trump derives so much of his worth from the number of people who show up to bestow adulation onto him, the other half is to drive this bogus narrative that actually Trump being stuck in New York for his criminal trial is a good thing. That in fact, Jack Smith and the communist, Marxist Democrats made a huge mistake by bringing this prosecution because now Donald Trump is going to win New York. It is a propaganda play. But here's the truth. No matter how many sparsely populated rallies Trump holds or little impromptu visits to bodegas or shops or restaurants, one, he is not going to win the state of New York, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. And two, the trial will always be justified and warranted and necessary. Unlike what Trump is doing, Jack Smith's prosecution isn't some campaign stunt. It is quite literally just upholding the law. Remember, it wasn't Jack Smith who forced Donald Trump to falsify business records to hide a hush money payout. It wasn't Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or the Democrats or anyone else. It was him. He is a grown-ass man. He makes his own decisions, and he's responsible for those decisions. And yes, that includes the illegal ones, which I recognize is more and more these days. So if he's looking for someone to blame in all of this, he might want to consult a mirror. So no, Donald Trump being on trial in New York is not some big win for him. He might try and gaslight you into thinking so, but it is a win only for accountability and justice, albeit severely delayed. But the fact that he's trying to convince people that he's better off because of it is just one more proof point that Trump is just as much of a fraud today as he was when he committed those crimes that landed him in the courtroom in the first place. I've got a really exciting announcement. I've written a book. It's called Shameless. This book explores how Republicans have exploited their historical branding while attacking our democracy, how the media has proven itself a willful participant, and how Democrats can learn from this to rebalance the political scales and save our democracy. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and so I'd like to ask you to pre-order it by clicking the link right here on the screen. And if you buy within this pre-order period, your book is going to come with a signed nameplate. As you know, I've never had a single sponsor on my channel. I don't ask for money or anything like that, but if you're looking for a way to support me, this is hands down the best way to do it. So again, follow the link right here on the screen, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for pre-ordering Shameless. And as always, make sure to subscribe to see more of my content.